Bit of a cold here this morning, so I apologize if I hack a little bit here.
Oh no, you have a deep, sexy voice just like Lauren Bacall.
Oh, good. Well, wasn't expecting that comparison this morning, but thank you. I'll take it where I can get it.
Excellent. Well, oops, Daisy, just a minute here. Just going to make the screen big. I see we are not, yes, we are rolling. Here we are. Great.
Yes, we are. Yes,
just waiting
yes.
for Carla to join in, but super excited about this interview this morning.
Well, tell us a little bit about Carla Collins. I know. I met Carla many years ago, but she is a performer and so many other things. But please set her up a little bit here for us.
Well, Carla Collins is, remember that great box of chocolates you used to get for Christmas, the black magic box, and it had the little map with all the different kinds
of... yes. Mm-hmm.
She is that box of chocolate.
All right.
There's a lot going on there. She is... originally a radio and television host. She is a reality TV star. She's a TV series star. She's an author. Her sold out book, Angels, Vampires, and Douchebags, was a bestseller.
Mm-hmm.
And she's got another book coming out soon. She tours all over the place. I met her actually when I was working at the Weather Network. She and I had met together when we were working at 990 Hits, which became Oldies 990. And then she went off to do stand-up comedy and then went off to the Weather Network, where we worked together for a while, where we had a lot of fun. Actually, quite often, Daisy, we never actually got to the weather. Because she would be doing
I could just imagine. Yeah.
The two of us together, we were like the two bad girls at the Catholic high school, you know. We were always not really exactly sticking to the format. That was when, actually, for those of you out there who remember, I believe it was oh my goodness gracious me, I can't even remember his name now. But Bob Linney was
yes. Oh yeah.
When Weather Network was Pelmerex.
Old colleague of mine from way back at CFCF Radio,
right.
Lenny was there. Yeah,
and he hired a lot of radio people, including Frank Capillaro and Les Crittenden, and Carla and I worked together there for 2 years. And working with Carla on anything such as it has been with working you is like a barrel of monkeys.
Wow, where's she based now? By the way, is she in the U.S. still, or?
Yeah, well, she's been in Los Angeles for the past few years. She, aside from doing comedy, she does a form, and I'm going to let her explain it, but a form of yoga that includes laughter.
Oh yeah, I was going to ask her about that, but yeah, I've got a still from her marketing thing to show, and I've got the clip too from YouTube that we can watch a little bit.
Yeah,
like, so.
And she also tours very successfully. She's normally in LA, but right now she's in Toronto because I believe she has a series of shows coming up at Yuck Yucks, as well as I believe the series of shows coming at Ottawa, Ontario.
Last time I saw her was in a restaurant in Toronto several years ago, and she was with friends and other people. I didn't bother her, but I remember seeing her across the room there. She was quite actively engaged with her dining companions. So I was wondering where she was based, but okay.
But she has a whole lot of projects. If you think that I am the Energizer Bunny and I have boundless energy, I pale. I tell you.
Yeah, but I was looking at her bio and knowing you as well as I do. I mean, you're two peas in a pod. You're two daughters from the same mother. I'm sure somewhere there. There are some resemblances there in terms of energy level and dedication to what you do, and fearlessness too. I was watching her on that YouTube clip, and I'm going to talk to her about that a little bit as well. I mean, there's this comfort there in front of an audience where that only experience will bring you over several years, and you just sit there and you relax and you're working your material, and it's quite something. It's encouraging for me to see her still at it as well too. So.
Well, longevity is, when I started doing radio, I think my grandmother still had one of those crank telephones in Perth.
Oh,
I
yes.
think I think people were still sending telegrams. Now, young Carla doesn't go as far back as I do, but there she is now. I'm going to let the
She's
woman.
on her iPhone too, so
Excellent.
she may be in her boudoir. I don't know. We'll find out in a
Well,
minute.
there
Oh,
I
she
maybe
am
is.
in
she
my
is. Oh,
boudoir.
oh, she is in her boudoir. My goodness gracious! And what a
I
boudoir
know.
it is too. Yeah.
Well, I tried. I just threw out a cat because I'm like, it's gonna mess things up.
Okay. Good morning.
Morning.
Where are you right now? In
I'm
Toronto or?
north. I'm Toronto adjacent.
Okay.
I'm on a horse farm that's about an hour and a half north of Toronto.
All right. Is this your horse farm or just a horse farm?
Ish. This
Okay.
is where I stayed during the pandemic, and yes, my dear friend, we have a few rescue animals we we own together.
Wow.
So
Okay.
it's my
Well,
it's my gay fiance, Michael.
okay. Era was going on about your bio and all of that before you joined us, and I'll let her pick it up from here. Era, go ahead, please.
Well, Carla was born, and it's Sault Ste. Marie, but every Canadian loves to be cool and say the Sioux.
We lived in the Sioux when I was a kid for about a year and a half or so. My sister was born in the Sioux, so that was interesting to find that out.
You're
Had
kidding.
family, have family in Sioux, Michigan as well. So interesting. The stuff I'm finding out about Carla Collins this morning,
The
ladies and
Twin
gentlemen.
Cities. Yes, I am from the Sioux, Yvon. These are not my original teeth.
Okay, all right then. Era,
These.
please continue.
So, yes, Carla, I believe, from the Sioux went on to Guelph University. But was that before or after you went to France and lived in France?
Did not go to Guelph University.
Well, there you go.
I know. I said
I,
don't look at IMDb because it's all false, including my age. But I did go to high school in Guelph, which I
right.
consider my other hometown. I really love Guelph.
Puis
I went,
tu parles français aussi?
oui, je parle français assez couramment
Wow,
et il
j'ai
faut
appris ça ce
pratiquer un
matin
peu plus.
aussi.
Oui, oui, ma mère
Université
était
de
française.
Franche-Comté. Ah, je savais pas, ta mère était française. Wow,
Oui, elle
OK.
était française et puis oui, j'ai passé mes études en France. Et j'ai ma première poste à la radio était en français, Radio France, RVF, oui,
Wow,
Radio
wow.
RVF à Besançon.
Et puis, on faisait quoi en français là-bas? La météo? On faisait des chroniques? On faisait
Non, je
quoi?
ne faisais pas la météo, c'était les heures chaudes avec Carla.
Oh, wow.
Carla!
OK.
Radio, musique,
Très intéressant.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So Guelph is, I'll just take that off the list here. Guelph Vocational Institute is wrong. Okay.
Yes,
And
no, it's right. It's exactly
Oh,
right. I didn't go to University of Guelph, but I did go to Guelph.
high
Vocational
school,
Institute.
where I
Oh,
think
okay.
you were prom and homecoming queen, you little overachiever, you.
Well, what's so funny, and again, this is why I always tell people do not go to IMDb. This is an old joke from my act. I was like the president of drama club. I was valedictorian, vice president of students council, and then my joke goes, and I was home queen. Of course, I was homeschooled. Is the joke. And now on every bio it says I was homecoming queen. We didn't even have a homecoming queen, but I'll take it. I was the homecoming drag queen.
All right.
And
Uh,
now, from whence I met
please.
you, Carla, when you came to 990 Hits, where were you before that?
Well, we met, yes, in Montreal and on the Weather Network. I would have been in school. I would have been at the University of Western Ontario, and then I took a few months at Ryerson, but then got a job in radio. So,
When did the stand-up start?
well, the stand-up started and stopped very abruptly. I did it for a couple of months in Montreal. Did not have a thick enough skin because
Oh,
I got into Just for Laughs. I did this fantastic show with Ray Romano and the you're a redneck guy. Jeff and it went. We got a standing ovation, and the next day in the Montreal Gazette there was a compromising photo of me and a microphone and how Bambi tries comedy. And I was just in my early 20s, and it devastated me. And I thought I don't need this nonsense. And
Yeah.
I left comedy, and then I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, I stopped caring what people thought and went back to it.
Well, Aaron and I were talking about that a few minutes ago. I'll show the clip here. We have the YouTube clip here of you on stage with the little dog there. I don't know where that was shot, but there is a comfort there now that is palpable when we see you on stage with that microphone. You're no fucks given, right? You're just at it, and you're presenting your stuff, and right.
Zero. Well, yeah, I don't know about that. I think I care a lot what I.
No, in the sense that,
But yes,
ladies and gentlemen, yeah.
yeah. Are we playing the clip? Or, it's from the Alma combo.
I will play that right now in just a
You don't
second.
know if you're saying it, but and yeah, that's Dr. Zira. Is my dog.
Let me see if I can get this started here.
That's right. It's Paris Hilton after the face aging app. Take a big drink in. Yes, I brought my chihuahua on stage. I've become that kind of white woman. I think the outfit needs a little bit of attention. Such a supermodel. I am very well aware that I look like a Christmas present that became a stripper to put itself through college. I'm kidding. I can't breastfeed. These are leased. I call them the Property Brothers.
Oh dear.
They're nearly identical, they're Canadian, they're popular, but what's really going on? I don't even know what would come out of one of these. My best guess, glitter. All right. Drink it in. I can't.
That's my favorite line of the Property Brothers one.
Oh
Excellent.
my gosh. Well,
Kudos
thank
on
you.
that one.
That feels old now. That's from 2020, actually.
Okay.
So,
All right.
yeah.
Okay.
That was during the pandemic, so we had, I think it was just moments before everything shut down. We had a very small, intimate VIP crowd at the Alma Combo, but it was a lot of fun.
Oh, good for you. Excellent. So you're still doing stand-up these days, yes?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And any shows coming up we should know about?
Yeah, I was going to talk to you two cool cats about that. I'm doing a show at the Goldenfield Brewery here in Toronto. And then in December, I start a bit of a Yuck Yucks tour on Boxing Day. And the 27th, I'm in London, my old stomping grounds where I went to university. And then in February and March, I'm all around Toronto, Burlington, Niagara Falls, Oshawa. But I'm looking for a Montreal date because I would love to come back to my third hometown and do a show.
When's the last time you were here?
Oh my gosh, it's been a
It's
while.
been a while. It's been a long time, hasn't it? Yeah.
That I haven't done comedy in Montreal since I first started back into comedy, which was
Okay.
about 12 years ago, maybe.
I'm sure. Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're talking about the last time we saw you here. I mean, I saw you in a restaurant in Toronto several years ago, and you were, of course, you were busy with your guests and all of that. I was wondering if you were still based there, so that it all kind of wraps it all up. Now, what about Carla Wood? I was interested in that.
Well, yeah, I guess I'm not entirely sure where I'm based. I'm sort of bi-coastal. Live in LA, but Carla Wood is a reality TV show we filmed when I moved to LA, and oh God, I think that was in 2009 or so. But it's had a
okay.
resurgence
Oh, good.
because it just started recently streaming on Tubi. So I think it's because it reminds people of a simpler, more loving time. And it was a lot of fun. So, I mean, it's bizarre I don't watch it back, but my mom's in it and my ex. And yeah, so it's all of a sudden there's a new audience for Carla Wood.
I want to talk
interesting.
about your ex because there's a 6 degrees of separation there. You were married, for those of in our audience who were around, and you had boomer parents. Your husband's dad, your ex-husband is Tyrone Power Jr., but your husband's dad was Tyrone Power, who was a big, monstrous movie star when my mom was growing up. And my mom was in the Philippines during the war, and after the war, Tyrone Power went to film a movie called An American Guerrilla in the Philippines about the guerrilla warfare with the Filipinos the American soldiers that were there during the war. And my mom was going to this university, and they, of course, young ladies then learned how to do dances and needlepoint and other important things aside from physics and, psychology. And so she had the pleasure of going to dance with the university's dance troupe at Malaking Palace. And she got to dance for Tyrone Power, and she nearly plotzed. She was just like, and I believe I sent the picture to you and Ty back in the day, but it was pretty cool.
Well, you did, and that's extraordinary. And your mom has one up on Ty because, of course, he never met his father, because Tyrone Power passed away while Ty's mom was pregnant with him. Oh. But by all accounts, just a spectacular person. I mean, I've gone to exhibits and I've seen his movies and I've heard, and of course met people who knew him. So it's quite a movie of the week when you think about it.
Yep. And now I wanted to talk a bit about your first book, Angels, Vampires, and Douchebags, which for me is whenever I'm feeling a little bit down, I pick up this book because it talks about the angels in your life, the good people who come along, the vampires who suck you dry, and the douchebags. Well, that's sort of self-explanatory. What was the inspiration to write that book?
Well, I guess that's all of us, right? We're all sort of a combination of the three. That's the money shot of that book. And I thought it would be, those are my two passions, really, are like, comedy and wellness. I'm always kind of trying to find a good marriage for those two. And I thought, there's so many self-help books. What about another's help book? How do we deal with everybody else in our lives? So I guess that was the inspiration, was to put some humor, which I always find makes everything a little more digestible, and to have the word douchebags, which made the press tour really difficult.
I'm sure.
I like to do that for people. So,
but that you're speaking of wellness, that dovetails nicely with Chuckle and Chill, which is something I was interested in. Are you still involved in that?
Yeah, that's one of my current big passions, Yvan.
Okay. Yeah.
And it'll dovetail into Era's story because so this was also at the beginning of the Jean-Claude Van Damme. I started. It was just by accident, or on accident, as my friends would say, that there are a lot of wellness centers, yoga studios, etc. in LA, and everyone's a guru. And I think that for a lot of people, it's very intimidating because it's it's woo-woo and it's pretentious and this is my spot on the meditation floor, like they own a timeshare. And my idea was somebody didn't show up. The breathwork guy didn't show up. So I ended up doing a half an hour of comedy. And then I led everybody through a guided meditation, which is like authentic. It's not me doing shtick because no one wants that. And I'm just trying to combine my only talents, which are writing, voiceover work, and comedy, and laughter and meditation. Even though it seems like a strange bedfellow, they're both they produce the same gamma state in your brain. So you release some endorphins and some energy, and then you have a great. I don't care if people sleep. I'm like, it's Fight Club. There are no rules. There's no wrong way to meditate. It's just relaxing.
And laughter is good for you too. So what an interesting, excellent combination. Kudos to you. And there's a second book. Is there not a second book in the works?
There is a second book. It's written. I'm currently illustrating it. I just finished the cover, and the second book is called The Wawa Way. And this was not really planned to be published because I just did it when the third of my 3 dogs was sick, and I started just writing a love letter, telling their story. It's autobiographical and allegorical. And it kind of spilled out in the form of a children's book. It's a bit of an homage, but the children's book as in like more of the Little Prince. And it's also very, I feel like the word inspirational is overused, but there are a lot of life lessons. But it's in the guise or vehicle of a children's book. So I'm in the midst of doing the illustrations right now.
Okay. And
go ahead, Yvan.
No, I'm just wondering about the title. Where does the title come from?
Dr. Zero was a Chihuahua. She was the one that you saw on stage.
Okay.
So the Wawa Way I don't
Gotcha.
know, Yvonne, I'm trying to be clever. It's as in it's a way, and like every chapter has a life lesson
Right.
type thing.
Okay. Is our Wawa still with us? No.
Our Wawa is not, but she lives on in the book because I hope to
Okay.
make it a series. But yeah, that's she was my first chick dog. She was my first tiny dog, and I ended up making her a service dog. That's why you saw her on stage with the Malmacombo. So we had a lot of adventures together, and you can say we rescue dogs and animals, but they're really rescuing us, and
Yeah, indeed. Yes,
a lot
I
of
have
lessons to
a
be had.
history with dogs too, and I know Era's a big animal lover as well. So, well, good for you. Kudos, and you'll let us know when that gets published, if and when, and we will certainly do some promotion for you.
Thank
Era,
you. That'll
go
be
ahead.
out in 2026 because
Okay.
it's the some of the topics are more serious, like divorce or racism or
Okay.
death, but it's subversive. So it's just, I think maybe that writing it as a children's book also made it a little bit easier for me emotionally, made it more,
Yeah.
a little safer.
Okay.
But I wanted to talk about the illustrations too, Carla, because I know that you do these, and I always get the name wrong. Not a spirit board, but you're also an artist. I think
Oh,
I
I
sent
like
you
the
one
word
of the.
spirit board though. I think that's even better. They're vision pop boards, as in there's some pop art and vision boards. But yes, Yvonne and Era, I thought, oh my God, what's less stable than stand up? I know, fine arts.
Uh-huh.
So, my joke is that for the first time since high school, which is a good 10 or 15 years ago, dog years, um, my brother convinced me. He's the head of art history department at a girls' school in New Zealand, and he said, I think you have a real style. And I'm like, oh God, I can't have another existentialist breakdown trying to do fine art. But I started it up, and he said, if you could do anything, what would you do? And again, Yvonne, I went for my combo, and Aaron knows of like putting two things together. So I said I would create vision boards for people. So I do custom ones where, for example, if it were you, Yvonne, or if it were you, lovely Era, I would put your mug in the center of it, and then things that you love or that you want to manifest all around it. And it comes with chakras or without, and a lot of them basically end up looking like 70s album covers, if I'm honest. There's a lot of color going on, like a box of Skittles threw up, but they're delightful.
So where do you get your illustrations from, or do you do those by hand? I mean, this
I
the
do them by hand.
17 magazine hasn't been printed for a few years now, or so. What do you cut things out of?
I don't know it's original art. I do them in
I think
Oh,
I
you do it
sent
all
you
by
a
yourself.
picture.
Oh. Okay. I was picturing,
Yeah, I
cutouts
think
from the Sears catalog or something like that.
No, no,
Okay.
no. I think I sent you maybe one of those drawings, or perhaps I didn't, but you can check. But
No, I got the bio notes and everything else. Okay, well, but that's very interesting. Okay, so this is all art, all inspired by your view of the person you're preparing the board for, and all of that. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
I
Okay.
try to kind of channel their spirit, as Eric said, and kind of like a Chagall had a baby with Andy Warhol,
Okay.
yeah, I just thought it was I because I don't really like the tradition vision boards where you cut things out of a magazine. I think that always looks like a hostage note.
Yeah. That's where my brain went. I'm sorry about that. I
Yeah,
didn't mean to
so
belittle your art.
no, that's all right. I'm look at this hair. I can take it. I can take a bullet, Yvonne. You throw your best at me, sir. No, I thought, well, wouldn't it be better to have an original 11 by 14 piece of art, and then the whole thing is you use it as your
Yeah,
screensaver on your phone,
of
because we
course.
look at our phones a billion times a day, and then things come to fruition.
And
Apparently,
signed by the artist too, I presume.
yes, I title them all. I use alliteration, so yours would be a particular challenge. Um, but
How many
yeah,
how
and
many are in the wild now?
it actually kind of boomed. Probably, I don't know, I'd say 25 or 30.
Oh wow, okay. Good for
Yeah, the
you.
first few I did, as gifts, and then people started to order them, and so yeah, and I it's very different from comedy and the rest of the shenanigans I do because it's quiet and um peaceful.
But still, it brings me back full circle to a question I've asked Era a lot too over the years: is when do you sleep exactly? When do you have time to put that brain of yours on blocks for a few hours?
I love that. I don't know. I have sleep issues. My brain doesn't go on blocks. The other night, speaking of this, because you guys asked, I couldn't sleep just because I really couldn't get my Chihuahua's head properly for the cover of the Wawa Way, and I had, we all have sparks in the middle of the night, and I'm like, oh, I know what to do for her head, and then I got up and wrote some new comedy. So I don't know. Sleep is elusive sometimes, but.
Okay, but the chemicals come together somehow and keep you putting one foot in front of the other. That's great. Okay.
Well, just like what you guys are doing, I think it's wonderful. It's great to do what you're passionate about, what you love. I mean, I know that, Yvonne, you acted, you were a news anchor.
Well, I did. Yeah, I was thinking, I did a bit of stand-up too back in the Ernie Butler days. I know that Era did some too. I mean, Era did a one-person show and all sorts of things, right? Didn't you, Era?
Yes, I did. Well, I did a one-person show, but I also I attempted comedy. I did a couple of these events for charity. There was a woman's show at the Nest, and Lou Diamond Phillips was the audience. That's how long ago it was. I think it was just after he did La Bamba.
That was the show I put together.
Yeah, you did that. Okay. So I remember I made him laugh, and I made everybody laugh, and that followed by some guy from a big pharma company who was doing an event in Quebec City, and this was, I think, the first or second comedy show I ever did. And of course, I didn't have any illusions that I was a stand-up comedian. I knew from you, Carla, that's like, it's hard work, and so anyway. I was hired to do this big pharma event. I based it a lot around gynecology because my dad was a gynecology, and that's where I got a lot together. When you have a dad who every Thanksgiving stuffs a turkey with a speculum and says, if I see another one of these today, I'm going to scream, you grow up with a rather skewed sense of humor.
Yeah.
Yes.
So anyway,
what's up with fallopian tubes? Yeah. Okay.
It's my favorite 80s band.
They flew me to Quebec City in a Dash 5, which was a twin prop airplane, one of the loudest airplanes alive. And I had an audience of 2,000 people, and I tanked. I bombed. It was just like, I had told the guy about the routine, and he said, this sounds great. And I stood out there for 10 excruciating minutes to coughs. And then I believe there was another stand-up comic, the one who looks like Miss Jane from the Beverly Hillbillies. You know who I'm talking about, Carla. Very well-known Montreal stand-up comedian.
Oh, is it? Well, now I don't want to say
Heidi Foss. Heidi Foss.
Yes. And then
yes.
He brought
She's
her
terrific.
out,
Yeah.
Basically, behind stage, he gave me my pay and my plane ticket home, and said I would not be needed that evening.
Yep,
and
that's a rite of passage. Everybody goes through that.
Of course it is.
God.
Emma is one of the funniest people I've ever met, but that's just part of the game. It's going to happen.
Yeah, I remember. Of course, I was dabbling in it, and of course, the other comics don't take to dabblers. Either you're in or you're not. So I was in there having a little bit of fun. Then I'd come back a little bit later. But I remember Joey Elias is going to be with us in a few days too, and I remember working with him too. He was very patient with me, but I used to get kind of a skewed look from him occasionally, as if to say, okay, you're sort of in the way here. You have fun, but either you're one of us or you're not. And that sounds a little perfunctory, but you have to be in it, right? And once you decide, I think getting back to you, Carla, once you decide that you want to go for it, then you have to bite into it and stick with it, right?
Well, I think that's so true what you're saying, Yvonne, and because I dabbled for a long time myself. I used to host a lot because, I was working on TV or radio, so Mark Breslin would have me in, and I think it was around the time I came back to comedy. One, because I wanted to get over my fears, so one is claustrophobia, so I started writing the TTC again, because I am very claustrophobic. I'm terrified of small spaces and jockeys. That's a whole other story.
Okay.
They are terrifying sons of bitches. But so Mark, I went up and did a guest spot at Yucks, And Mark said, can I talk to you for a minute? And he said, listen, I think you could be really good, but you can't jump up a couple times a year. Like you've got to, when you're in between TV, you've got to go full into this. And so it's what I did.
Right. Well, good for you. Because once you're in it, you got to be in it to win it. So, and I'm just flashing on Bernie. He's been gone for how many years now? 2000. I guess 15 years, I think.
Yeah, at least I loved Ernie Butler, and he's the one. I was just out of school. This is when I first met Era. I was out with friends. I don't think Era was not there, but I was out with friends making them laugh over dinner, and Ernie came up to me. It was called Downstairs or Upstairs in Montreal. I don't know if it's still there.
Yes, he shifted. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. Came up to the table and said, you should really try comedy. And I remember calling the guys who ran the Wednesday night. And I said, hello, it's Carla Collins from the Weather Network. And they're like, yeah, we don't give a shit. And I said, well, they were horrible to me. And I'm like, well, Ernie said I could go on. And I remember them saying, okay, you got to do 5 minutes. Going to seem like forever. And I don't know why, but it went really well that night. And they just kept me up there. And I remember thinking, this 5 minutes does seem like forever because it was 15. And that's one thing he taught me. No, he passed away in 2007, so it's been 18 years already. He's the one who told me, look, don't get up there and just, get up there and do it right. Because there were people who would give their left arm to be up in front of a microphone, in front of a crowd. So don't fuck it up. Just get up there and do your best. And then, he taught me quite a few things, and it was quite an experience. Yes, you have to get over. I had back in the Montreal days, I was just shaking like a chihuahua on meth. I had to really get over a nerve problem too. It's never with radio or TV or acting or anything else, but with stand-up, might be the only reason I'm thin. I just couldn't eat for days leading up to a show. And,
oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, God, I'd be okay about 5 minutes in. But I remember thinking, this is optional. I don't want, and now I get up and do like 45 minutes at a garage sale if I could. Like now I understand that it's a privilege and that no one's going to die except for maybe me symbolically on stage. So.
Yeah, and I did, what few appearances I had, within just a couple of minutes, you know whether you're riding that surfboard or you're not, right, with the crowd. So it's quite something. So now the material that you use, is it, like the lawyers say, sort of a boilerplate set where you'll pull one piece out and then once the crowd reacts to it, you'll go down that alley, or is it just something? It's just a set piece that you present when you go out?
Oh, I don't know, Yvonne. I've never done the same show twice. I think it's actually, my friend last night joked, and I said, I often do a little stream of consciousness, and he said it was more like a fire hose of consciousness. So I think there's that. I always say, here's what I'm going to do. It's not like I don't write or plan and have some of the same, bits, that, especially the new ones that I like, but it's all over the show. And I do like to improvise a lot of my, then you finesse your bits. Like a lot of it started by being an ad lib and going down a road. And I think, the best stuff is stuff that happens in your life. I would say, oddly, I just interviewed Andy Kim and he made me cry, and that's usually my move. But he sort of started asking me, because he's like some kind of ascended master, Canada's roomie. He just spills nuggets wherever he goes, and he's so calm that he gets you into his vortex. And it's only been, I'd say, in the last 2 years that I really talked about much more personal stuff and more vulnerable stuff on stage. So it took me a long time to get to that point of, where I'm not just doing shtick, and talking about some more serious things and finding, shedding a little light on the darkness. I love dark humor, very slimming. And so it took me a while to get to that point.
Now, you talked about that first review that kind of threw you off there so many years ago. What about social media now? What about these instantaneous reactions to shows and things? Does that get in your way?
Yeah, no, I think people are like, extra. I don't know. I don't get a lot of hate on social media. Maybe I'm not big enough or controversial enough.
Okay, but just a a snide comment here and there or something?
Yeah, it's been pretty kind. I have to say, I see what happens with others, and I'm sure there's the occasional one, but it really, again, doesn't, that kind of thing doesn't bother me anymore. And even yesterday, I posted like these old photos, and I said, let's have, go ahead and burn me. I'll start. And my joke was, doing Karen Walker's voice, honey, what's going on with that Long Island medium mullet hair? Because, my wardrobe choices, even today, I'm wearing a slutty turtleneck. I can make jokes of what I wore this morning. Like, people are like, what was I doing back in the 90s? I'm like, what was I doing Saturday? What was I thinking Saturday? So, and people were just so sweet on it. I was like, come on, guys. I was like, come on, my gays. You want to have at it. There's a hilarious thing with almost everything I wear and how high my hair has been for decades now. But yeah, that doesn't really bother me. And again, keyboard warriors.
Yeah, right. And the political correctness bit that we've been hearing about in recent years, is that getting in your way?
Well, not anymore. I mean, because the pendulum has swung hard the other direction, which I knew it would.
Yeah. Okay.
So no, now it's, I don't think that's a factor. And I kind of subscribe to what Ricky Gervais said. If you don't like it, turn it off or don't listen
there you
to
go.
me. Or
exactly. Nobody forced you to buy the damn ticket.
Exactly. And I'm not a mean comedian, more absurd and silly. But as you guys know from broadcast, it would never be the thing that was even offensive that someone would call in about, or, where you'd get in trouble for. So you can't control that. And people can mishear, or so. Yeah, I don't worry about that. Cancel me from what?
Right. Okay. So, good. Well, that's good to hear. Good to hear. All right, Era, I'm sorry, I'm taking all your time.
No, it's fine. Actually, I was thinking that when Carla and I were working at the Weather Network, we had a lot of fans in the Kingston Penitentiary, who, if you'll remember, Carla would send us Polaroids and pictures of us that they had taken, I guess, from the Penn TV, which in those days would have been like in high school, where you have the TV on the high thing. And I remember taking those to Bob Linney, and he said, there's no threats, though. I think Carla got one once where the guy said, I look forward to seeing you when I get out. So there's that. But for the most part, I learned from Carla too. Carla's been a great friend and a great teacher for many years, and that is really just it only hurts if you let it hurt. And in living in the world today, I couldn't even imagine, the commentary. I've just stopped reading commentary on Facebook now because it's just like, it makes me want to drink. Oh, I like to drink anyway, but besides that. but it's just like, oh, for God's sake. And also to people who post mean stuff. You're a bully somewhere in your life. I don't know. Somebody shoved you into a locker and you've never gotten over it. You didn't get the pony you wanted when you were 10 years old. And that's why you're so nasty and mean now. And I don't have time for that. That's, I think, my takeaway from working with Carla, and that. And I wish when I was nervous, I would lose weight too. That would be great,
I know you're
Carla's Ozempic.
I got to tell you, Era, the most concerning thing I've ever heard is Carla's been a great teacher to me. And now I feel like I'm happy to be your emotional support cougar, but I really hope you also have some people who are more solid in your life. But it's true, when someone says something, everybody's always projecting, right? Like everybody, that's what I finally discovered, that when someone says something to you, it's usually about it's the whole not trying to take it personally, because 9 times out of 10, it's about them. It has nothing to do with you. The whole hurt people hurt. So eventually you just, you saw. Also, I'm a big fan of Xanax and Pinot Grigio, Yvan. They're called Zanhattans. They're delicious. And then you don't really care.
You don't really give a damn anymore, no. Well, we need more of your energy out there, my dear. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. The Wawa Way is the name of the book that you should look for in 2026, and shows in the Toronto and Oshawa area in the coming weeks. Carla Collins. Merci, ma chère.
Merci beaucoup. Grand plaisir. Je vous adore, vous deux. Who else is aroused? Come on, I'm speaking French.